Thanks for joining us as we start to go live here. I'm shooting my second episode of Filling the Gaps podcast. I have a special guest on here today, Dr. Naota Hashimoto. How you doing today?
Doing great.
Good, man. Thanks so much for being on as a guest. I really appreciate it. Naota and I have been building a relationship probably over the last 18 months or so. First met
Yeah.
at like a Chiro Touch insiders meeting and got to know him a little bit more over the year and a half or so. This guy's super brilliant. Love learning from him. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of what you're doing in the chiropractic profession?
Yeah. Well, started out as a chiropractor, right? Just like a lot of us. And yeah, so did that a while, had all kinds of practices over the years, cash, insurance, realized I hate insurance. And then we just settled on like PI and cash. We did like a pretty busy practice in the 3.5 to 4 mil range. So it was pretty busy, single location. Never really had the gumption to do multiple. I thought about it, but
Yeah.
I don't like managing people. So like I hit my maximum of managing. We got up to at one point I got up to 50 employees. So it's not like I wasn't against hiring, but like it wasn't fun for me.
Yeah.
So right now we're at 27 people on our team, and like that's like enough for me. Well, we're gonna have more than that, but like I think up to 50 is like what I can handle. I can't go beyond that unless I change. So like we had that. We had a kind of like a seminar business, right? That's why we had like a bunch of employees. So I had a call center in the Philippines that I managed, and we essentially did butts and seats for these stem cell docs. And then we had our practice, which was PT, chiro, and medical. We were a chiro first business. Did like consulting with like this company with 3 letters. It starts with an A, and then like it just. I did it. I felt like I sold my soul for 3 years and decided that I was going to fire them and run it the way I wanted to. And that's actually when we were much more profitable, because like I felt like we were always a very profitable business. I wasn't like save myself into a profit person, but I don't like spending recklessly. So like with a lot of these other kinds of providers, they get kind of expensive and it's harder to manage. So like we just jammed out the chiro. Like I was very comfortable with chiro, very comfortable with decompression, very comfortable with rehab, and we just maxed out. Like so, like for us, I really focused on like operational excellence, like how fast can we process people. Now, every practice is different. Like I wasn't a 3-minute visit practice, like we were 35 to 45 minutes. Sometimes we were there for an hour and a half.
Sure.
But like it was, yeah, a little bit of effort to kind of get that going. And, like when we were running it, we had a stats platform that we were running. We had 7 Google Sheets. We had a texting platform. We had a software called Infusionsoft, and nothing talked to each other. And I had this marketing company and ended up hiring an engineer. And in between, we just started building this like patient tracking software, not to sell, just for our own practice. Because one of the things that helped us excel is like accountability of our team. So we did stats, but also accountability with process. Kind of like, if I was a math teacher and you're giving me an answer, right? Like I need to see your work, right?
Right.
So like that's why we had like these other sheets, which would be like, okay, front desk, we're going to bonus you on new patients that actually show up to the office. So the front desk was in charge of new patient show rates, and they kept track of all the new patients. We had a case manager, and their job was to work every new patient till they either started or not started or said F off, right?
Right.
And like I think it's important, right? So we want to, with the case manager, we tracked them on like how many new ones, what their conversion was, kind of like ballpark collections on what they're doing, and like how many new patients that were not worked. We wanted to make sure that every single one of them, they either attempted to schedule them multiple times or presented them like a treatment plan. And yeah, it's just like for us, it was just a lot of measuring and a lot of accountability.
So tell me a little bit about is so I think you're talking a little bit about the genesis of how TrackStack came about and that kind of thing. But talk to us just a little bit about what TrackStat is and what it does, and how you view it helping people in the profession, I guess.
Yeah, like I guess I feel like the first goal was we wanted to make it like an activities-based CRM, and I realized that I'd say that these doctors, they have a blank stare on their face, like, "What's a CRM?" Right? So, like, it's like so that's essentially what the premise of it was, right? Because like, your EHR is just a bunch of static data, and if you wanna take action on it, you have to query a report, print it off, hand it off to Tiffany, and Tiffany has to work it, and you have no idea if Tiffany's doing her job or not. The only
Right.
way you know is if the numbers are going up. And so, like, what we do is I wanted to make the data actionable. So, like, the example I always give people is a no-show appointment. So, if someone no-shows for an
Yeah.
appointment, we'll reach out automatically. The staff should be calling them manually. And then we have a workflow, right? A workflow will show all the people that have not scheduled, that have canceled or missed their appointment. And then we make it easy for them to take action where they could text them, email them, schedule them, make a note, pull them off the list, and then the owner or manager could see what is the rescheduling rate. So the premise that we apply to everything is we want automation or AI followed up by workflow, followed up by accountability, because you've received a text even from people you know and you haven't
Right.
responded, right? I know I
Sure.
have. And just I've gotten an email from like my mom who like I love dearly. And like you just get busy and it just gets buried. Like you open it and you're like, oh, I'm gonna reply later. Cause like if it's a quick reply, it's like, oh, I can't do that. Like it just like, oh, this is a long email. It's like, I'll do this later. I forget to mark it off as unread or pin it, and it just
Yes.
disappears. And my mom's like, you didn't respond to my email. It's like, oh shit, I was just busy. It's just like it's my mom. Like and obviously I'm gonna reply to her, but like I talk to her every week, but it's just like sometimes we get busy and we forget. So like
No,
that's how I
that's the truth, man. It's the truth for sure. And I can attest, as we've utilized TrackStat in our own office, we've gotten better and better at it. Obviously, there was a learning curve and there's still some training that goes on, but like the two-way text features, and things of that nature have been great in terms of helping us manage patients. We used to have a call book basically where we would go through and write down somebody's missed appointment or if they canceled or whatever it was, and then we'd call them 3 times. If they didn't respond to the call or we left a message, then we'd send them a postcard. And so all of that's really been automated now with TrackStat, and it's been integrated into the ChiroTouch software that we use. And so that I think has been a great addition to our practice. I mean, what's the role that you see, I guess, TrackStat playing in the future, even potentially for people as they continue to integrate your software and your service?
yeah, like for us, like at the core, right, what I focus on is increasing office visits, reducing operating costs. The stuff in the middle is profit. So at the core, like we try to make it easier to increase office visits. So right now, like we have like workflows and like automations, but like eventually we're going to just have agents that run through your software that will call, reschedule, try to follow up with them. So right now, like our first agent that we have is a scheduling agent for inbound phone calls, right?
Okay.
Answering the phone, answering questions, scheduling appointments, rescheduling appointments. That's about 50 to 75% of someone's phone calls. It's probably 75 to 80% of the phone calls, but you still have like those older curmudgeon patients that won't talk to the AI agent that say operator right off the bat. So like it's probably gonna unload like 50 to 75%. So like I think like honestly, I think most practices in the future, especially in places like California where the labor is so high, like they're probably going to just let the AI handle it first. And if the AI can't handle it, then it routes it to a human. And like the staff is dealing with, 25% of the phone calls. So like, let's say you have 3 front desks, maybe you get by with one, right? Or let's say
Right.
you have one front desk. That front desk now isn't chained to the front desk. And like now you've gotten 50 to 75% of an extra employee. Right. So like
Now,
I think that's the future.
so interestingly, like right now, I ended up hiring a virtual CA through a company called Cool Blue VA. Is out of Nicaragua. He's doing a fantastic job because I wanted to do exactly what you're talking about, right? In terms of offloading the number of calls that we were getting and that kind of thing. I guess I didn't feel like my practice was ready for like a full AI agent. Maybe that's age of patient base and all that kind of thing. Maybe my age is showing there. But what kind of feedback or data have you heard about people utilizing AI agents, and are are they into it? Is that people are going to be okay with it more in the future, you think, or where do you see that, or what have you heard?
It's like taking credit cards, right? That used to be a thing where people wouldn't take credit cards, right? And then like won't take Amex. It's just like you you kind of get what you tolerate. And I
Sure,
think in high labor markets, you're gonna have more and more of an adoption of it because like out where you're at, like my guess is a cost of a front desk between work comp, payroll tax, and everything is you're probably paying close to $30 an hour at least to
for
get
sure.
someone that has all their teeth, that's not on meth, right? Like, like it's just so like you're gonna have more of that. So it's like if I go to like AI conferences and you look at like the leaders in the space that have been doing it a lot of them are in like medical, right? Because like the trade-off is I could wait 45 minutes to talk to someone in the Philippines, not nothing against the Philippines, but like they have a lot of call center people,
Sure.
or I could talk to this AI agent 2 years ago that was horrible. But like, okay, the trade-off of waiting 45 minutes to talk to someone offshore, or I could talk to this AI agent right now and see if I could get my thing handled, right? So like the
So people
trade-off,
are just more accepting. Yeah,
yeah,
people are
because the
more
trade-off
accepting of it.
so like people, yes, no one likes change. QR codes are ready to die. COVID came along, boom, QR codes. It just people are always going to resist stuff. It's just like autonomous cars. No one's ever going to do that. It's like they're going to take over, right? It's just like it's going to be safer, it's better. And you're always going to have like your innovators, your early adopters, and then you're going to have your laggards like way down here. And I think eventually like your neighbors, like if you decide to adopt it, you're going to have way better margin. Now you could grow your practice better, you could pay your people better, you could pay better doctors, and people around you, they're either going to adopt or go extinct, right? So and I think
I
that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's a great point. Along those self-driving car lines, I almost took a Waymo for the first time last weekend, but I couldn't figure out how to use the app, so I got to go back to it. I'm ready to take that self-driving car, but so tell me a little bit more then about how TrackStats AI agent then works, and how that's getting integrated into people's practices. Like, what have you seen so far with your early adopters?
Um, well, like it's actually been good, right? Because they're early adopters, right? So they're more into innovations and stuff like that. It's a very tight system. So like the when we built it, I built it the way that I would want it for my practice. So the library of FAQs is just what you provided. So if they
Okay,
ask a question that isn't something that you provided, it's just going to say, I don't have the answer. Let me transfer you to a team member. Because I think people are going to be okay with a transfer and answering it. What people aren't going to be okay with if the AI just says, oh, you have a headache, you should take Tylenol or ibuprofen for that, or you should call
right.
a neurologist for that. That's what people don't want, right?
I
So it's a
see.
very tight library of FAQs. If you don't allow cancellations of appointments, we can't have the AI cancel the appointment. It's going to transfer it to a team member, right? So it's going to be based on your settings. If the person says, I'm in a lot of pain, it's an emergency, and you don't take more than 3 adjustments per 15 minutes, we're not going to squeeze in that fourth adjustment. It has to go through a human to do that. So,
I
like, I've
see. I see.
seen other things where the AI is like too empathetic and they just give it too much free reign, and the AI will just do things. So, for us, it's like it could only do what you set it to do.
I kind of that makes a lot of sense now, because I think about like even when I use AI agents through like Alaska Airlines or something like that. Oftentimes you get to that point where it's like, oh, do you want me to transfer you to an agent? So I guess I could see it working like that in that sense. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah, like if the AI, like if like someone asks, like, like I remember last week I was listening to a call, someone was complaining about their EOB, right? And they're pissed they got an EOB. And it's just like said, sorry to hear that, empathize with them, explain kind of like ballpark what it was. It's just like, I can't answer specific questions about your EOB, but I could transfer you to a team member. And then they transferred, right? So like people, I think, are going to be okay with that. They'd be okay if it gave a great answer, And if it gave a great answer 999 times, but one time out of 1,000, someone didn't like the answer and gave you a 1-star review, they're going to fire us, right? So with the
Right.
AI, they have very low tolerance for mistakes. But if you had an employee that made a mistake, you're like, okay, well, it's just training. But people expect AI to be perfect. So for us, like, we put it with a very, very, very tight leash.
But to your point, man, I can really see the benefit because we had gotten to the point where we're getting 120, 140 calls on Monday and Wednesday, on our primary treating days, and it was really not allowing the staff that I had to be able to do anything else but stay attached to that phone, and that's part of why I moved to this virtual VA situation. But now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I probably need to integrate the AI as well. So tell me a little
Well,
bit more about what it takes to integrate the AI and the cost associated with that, with TrackStat and all that kind of thing.
like right now, it's like pretty cheap. Like we're just charging like essentially like 30 cents a minute, right? We're gonna raise the prices as we add more functionality to it. But like right now, I'm just kind of going like Elon's method, and we're just getting a ton of data. We're gonna just try to win the market. I've seen people doing like, five, 10, $20,000 setup fees. I talked to like one of the clients we onboarded last week. They got quoted a $35,000 setup fee. And I was like, oh geez, it's like, what's your setup fee? It's like, well, you're an existing client, so it's zero. Is that in your budget? Oh yeah. How much is it? It's like going to be 150 for your first 500 minutes. And they're like, oh, well, that's pretty dang cheap, right? So like,
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's one of the things I love about you, man. You really kind of just low key, brilliance that you have. And then as you are developing these things, you just kind of figure it out as you go, right? And you look at it as a partnership, I guess, in many
yeah,
senses.
like we're not trying to like grab people by their ankles and shake them around till all the change falls out. Like we're trying to be a good partner. That's kind of like what we started it. Yes, like in business, everyone's trying to make money.
Sure.
But like for us, like I know like the real pot of gold is when we win the market. The real pot of gold when we get so much data, we could figure out how to iterate. Because like as we get more calls and listen to calls and we have software that analyzes the calls, we could tweak our AI better. So like I'm right now, we're just trying to like, we're not even covering our costs. So it's like we're just trying to like get a ton of data on there and like win the market. So like that's our goal.
So,
And
what would you say to somebody, I guess, that's maybe hesitant to adopt AI agents in their practice at this point, and to, I guess, help them understand better and help them, I guess, take that next step?
well, like it's easy to dip the toe in the water. So like we just tell people start with online scheduling, right? That's free. That's included in our platform. And
Right.
then like once that's working, like if someone like we have some people that haven't done any of it and then they want to do everything. And I've just flat out told them it's like just start with online scheduling. Because like all AI is going to do is make your problem happen faster. So
Mm,
if we set up online scheduling the way that works perfect for your practice, it's great. But like you set it up, and if it's working the way you want it, then turn on the AI. But if we set up AI, you're just going to have the problem happen faster because you're going to get a lot more inbound calls. So, like I would say, start with online scheduling, right? They could schedule through the app, schedule through a widget on the website, right? Schedule with a mobile friendly link. If that's working for you and patients are popping on your schedule the way that you want it, then yeah, by all means, turn on the AI. And then at that point, like people will adopt. Yes, you will have some people complain and just like the temptation some of us have, and I've had this before where you have one person complain and you want to get rid of the whole thing. But like the people
right.
that are okay don't say anything. The people are ecstatic about it, they may say something about it. You'll get that one person that complains. And when I ran the practice, and yeah, like I wasn't a dick, but like, like a team member would come to me with like something, and it's like, was it an A, B, C, or D patient? And it's like,
Mm,
oh, it was a D. I was like, all right, well, you know where to file it, the trash. I didn't even read it. Right? Like, I just like if it was an A patient, it's like, oh, what was the request? Great. A patient's a person that's nice. They show up on time. They refer people. They've paid money. I was like, oh, great. It's like, like Renee, let's go take a look at Renee's suggestion. And I get her feedback and asked Renee how she suggests we do it better. And because she was an A patient. So I was like, if I got like a ton of things from C patients, yes, of course I'm going to take a look at it. But like one person, like there's some people that are like, they're grumpy no matter what you do.
True.
And let's just say you have a number of old people that say operator every time, or front desk, or receptionist, and it bypasses. You're still probably going to get 50% of your phone calls off to like AI handled. And like, so let's just say your practice right there where you have your VA person, right? So let's just say they could only they're fielding 50% of the phone calls. Now you have an extra 50% of their time. And now maybe you say, okay, let's call some attorneys with that extra time. Let's go verify some insurances with that extra time. Let's go clean up some ledgers with that extra time. Let's, clean up your database. There's a million things that you give this person to do. Right. So it's
No,
like,
that's a great point, man. That's a great point. And to your point, with the online scheduling that we've adopted, I was a little skeptical about it. I didn't think my patient base would adopt it as fast as they have, but they really love it, and that's been a great addition too for people to be able to change their appointments and things of that nature. So it's definitely good. It's been a good experience for us, and I'm happy to get to learn a little bit more about the AI agent and that kind of thing. That's kind of what prompted me to be like, oh, I got to get Naota on the broadcast and talk to him a little bit more about the AI agent. That's how I learn things. I just interview people about it and help them try to get some info out there about their product, their company, their service, and that kind of thing. But if people have more questions about this or they want to get connected with you, can you just tell them how to reach out to you and get connected?
yeah, like I'm sure you'll have the link below, but trackstat.org, trackstat.org. That's the easiest way. They There's a demo video of the AI agent right on the homepage. They don't have to opt
Nice.
in for anything. And then, they could click watch demo, watch a short little demo, and then they could schedule a Zoom with me or someone else. And then, if it seems like a right fit, we do a trial. So like I guess I sell the way I like to buy. So like for us, like it's very nonchalant, like low pressure sales in our office, right? We did have sales and we were strong at sales, but like, if someone came in and like they weren't interested in fixing the problem. They just wanted to get like a couple quick visits. That's great. Hey, Phil, no worries, right? We'll just take care of it. And, what are your plans on dealing with this when it comes back since you didn't really fix the problem? They're like, well, I don't know. And then you're just having that conversation. You got to like meet them where they're at versus like you're talking to the husband and he's just sitting here. He's like, I'm only here because my wife made me come here. Nancy's made me come here and I don't want to deal with her anymore. It's just like, I get it. It's like, I've been married for a while too. My wife plans all my stuff for me. And I just kind of meet them where they're at. And like, they take their guard down, have a conversation. And before you know it, they're like a regular patient that's coming in on a regular basis. But like, no men, even though we all get told what to do by our wives, right? So I was like, who am I kidding? Right. So like, she's the CEO of our house. And it's just, you just got to meet people where they're at. So like for us, it's just like, no pitch, like, cause it just, I've been on the other side just like you have, and it just sucks, right? You talk to the sales guy that just, oh, it does all this shit and it doesn't do any of this stuff. And you're locked into this contract and you can't get out of it. So like, so we just do the opposite, right? It's like, hey, do a free trial, right? Oh, no credit card. What? No credit card? No, yeah, we'll take the risk. We'll do the BAA. We'll set it up. We'll do all this stuff. And then I just try to take everything about that sales process and just get rid of it, right? So what do people hate? They hate the pressure, right? They hate
Yeah.
they want to try it before they buy it. They don't want to put in their credit card, right? You're risking a little bit of time. It's kind of like you look at a business like CarMax, right? They take everything about that car buying process and they get rid of everything. Like I haven't bought through CarMax, but I've sold through CarMax and
Yeah.
it is insane. Like there's no haggling, right? So people hate the hard pitch. No, the haggling. Price is a price. What about lemons? Oh, we got our known lemon rule, right? You buy a car from us. If it turns out to be a lemon, bring it back, right? And it's just like inventory, tons of inventory, right? And like, or the trade-ins, they give you great trade-in because their real business is a finance business because they don't give a rip about what they sell the cars for. They just want to get you into a car and financing it through CarMax. And it's
Mm.
just, it's pretty cool, right? They took the whole sales process, everything that people hated about the car buying process, and they got rid of it, right? And you go in there, here's the price, here's a car, you buy it, you like it, great. If it turns out to be a lemon, bring it back 10 months later, trade it in, they give you your money back, right? And it's amazing. So we just
Yeah.
try to
Well,
do kind of the same thing over here.
Well, I love your approach to business, man, and collaboration. I really appreciate you taking the time to be on here with me today and share a little bit about what you're doing. Um, we'll have to hopefully connect in the future soon. But until next time, man, good luck with everything, and appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me.
You got it.